Hello and welcome to day 8 of Podmas here on A Sarah's Life podcast. I'm Leanne. I'm so sorry I wasn't here with you yesterday, but I'll was. Thank you, darling.
I know, it wasn't good without you. I messed all kinds of things up. I did have some fun editing it though, because I managed to find some more sad music.
I heard.
But no, she's back today, and I think hopefully she's all better. You had a good night's sleep?
I did. I had a good rest, a good night's sleep. I feel much, much better. Thank you very much.
She also did something last night when I was asleep, which I thought was quite weird. About 4 o'clock in the morning, I just felt this little weird bop on my nose. It wasn't like a hit or anything. It wasn't like a punch. It was just like a bop on the end of my nose. And I woke up. I was like, what's going on? And she went, "You were snoring, darling." And I went, "Oh, okay." And then for the rest of the night, I was like, kept waking up and going, was that the right thing to do? I don't know. I kind of respect the fact that you didn't punch me or dig me or something. You just very quietly went pop. But it was a very strange, very, very strange sensation.
It worked better than I thought it would, to be honest. I thought I'll start with a bop and I'll end with a punch, but didn't have to go there.
So I think we've got another voice note from a previous guest.
We sure do. Our voice note today comes from Julianne Bosch, who was on episode 76. Way back in July. So if you haven't listened, scroll back, have a good old listen. We were very excited to talk to Julianne because she has traveled the world as a wife and a mother to 3 really cool kids who speak loads and loads of languages. Mm-hmm. And as you know, and I don't have kids, we can't advise you on that stuffs. So it's always good to pick up with people who can give you that insight. So yeah. She's got a book, she's got a website, she's an all-round awesome, awesome person. So go and check out, if you haven't already, pause, go back to episode 76, listen to that, and then come back. I'd say we'd wait, but we've got other people listening. So just pause it and then come back and pick up where you left off.
Definitely so. Julianne, she has traveled a lot of the world. She, as you say, she's great at languages. If I remember, the story was that she learned Spanish because her mother-in-law didn't speak English. She didn't speak Spanish. And I think her husband, who is Spanish, like mainland Spain, was taking the mickey out of her and telling his mum all kinds of things. It might be his grandmother. I can't remember. Abuela. I can't remember. But there was a bit of a joke. And then she went, right, screw you. I'm going to learn Spanish. And so she did. Anyway, so she's an amazing woman. And I think we have the voice note from her.
Hi, this is Julianne from How a Mother Took Her First Step on the Moon. The piece of advice or the hack for expats that I have is to look at www.roundtheworld.staralliance.com. I use United. I'm sure one of the major airlines also has this, or other major airlines has this. But take a look. It's a round the world ticket where you have to make a number of minimum stops as long as you go in the same direction forward. So instead of going home A to B for the summer, take a trip around the world, even if you stop on a couple stops pre and post, before and after your visit home. It will be a magical summer because along the way, you're seeing your family, but you're visiting countries for a few nights pre and post. So that is my hack. I hope you enjoy it. And
we'll never know what the last "and" bit was. Instagram cuts you off at 1 minute because fuck Mark Zuckerberg. Fuck Zuck. I don't know why that's not a hashtag.
It might be.
It might be. Yeah. So, So, I mean, I've heard this before. There's a website called thepointsguy.com, I think. And he's amazing. And he'll tell you all about he says these things like, if you have a lot of expenses, then you should, in a month, then you should put them on your credit card and then pay your credit card off at the end of the month, because certain credit cards give you certain air miles and they're like times 10 or times 100 or something. And I've seen a few of these tips, but this is such a great.
It is. It's so clever. It's so clever. I mean, I want to look at that next time we do like a long haul trip. How many places can we go? It's such a smart thing to do. And I think as well, particularly if you're, we all want to see our family, you know, at different points in the year or around the holidays, but seeing family can be a busy time. It can be a stressful time. It can be a lot of planning. I think to tie it in with something else that's like really fun and as Julianne says, like make it a magical experience, I think is a really smart thing to do.
Definitely. Definitely. There's another one called Seat57, I think, .com. If you Google Seat, I'm sure it's Seat 57. I might try and put it in the show notes if I can be bothered. And that's another one where you could basically say, I want to go from A to B, and then it'll tell you all the trains, planes, automobiles, scooters, however you can get there, which is another great website. But yeah, we had some guests on called Brent and Michael last year, I think it was, and they were saying a similar kind of thing, that they talked about these return journeys for cruise ships. So a cruise ship would leave from, let's say, America, go to Spain, go to the Caribbean, and that's probably not the most direct route, and then go to that, and then most people get off and fly home. And then, of course, the ship has to get back to where it came from. And so you can quite often buy very, very cheap tickets for a almost empty cruise ship. And they apparently, that what they like doing is when they get in the middle of the Atlantic or whatever for like 7 days, they just sit and work for 7 days because they got no internet, so they got no distractions. And also they said it's like a quarter or a tenth the price of any other way of traveling, which I thought was quite cool.
It's really cool, and I love that idea as well of kind of unplugging for having no other option to unplug. Yeah. I think particularly for people like us who can get a bit too, we have to put down the phone at certain points in the day, don't we? So yeah, that's smart. I like it, and I think that's the thing as you live and work abroad, as you travel more, you pick up these little hints and tips. I know one that we listened to recently from Luke Morris's episode, which I thought was really good, is like if you have like an app that you're getting your train tickets from, like take a screenshot of your ticket or download it, because the number of times they ask you for a border crossing when your 3G goes and you can't get the internet, can't download your ticket. So that was quite a clever hack as well. And I think, as we've talked about before, I'm sure we've done an episode on this, Airbnb hacks. Might have even done it last Podmas. Scroll back, have a listen. But the one that always starts to me, and it's actually a friend of mine that suggested this, was if you're looking at Airbnb, 1, do a month because you get really chunky discounts. And 2, try adjusting your dates. If you're looking at a month, try adjusting your dates by just like 1 day, 2 days. And you'll see so many other listings come up, which I thought was a really good hack.
Definitely. And I think there's a couple of things there. First of all, I think Airbnb now have on their app, definitely on the desktop app, you can say plus or minus like 5 days. But if you're ever driving across Europe, or maybe, I'm guessing mainly Europe this will apply to, but if you're driving across Europe, then there are certain places where they don't kind of allow, or your what am I trying to say? Certain places that your mobile phone plan won't work. And so, as Leanne said, we were driving up to the Bosnian border from, I can't remember where it was, but it was somewhere where our phone worked. We got to the Bosnian border, and then of course they said, "Can I see your insurance?" We're like, "Yeah, no problem. I've got it on my phone in my email." Could we get our email? Could we hack? Because on the border, as you probably know, like 300 meters one side and 300 meters the other, you'll connect to a different network. So I think it's a really, really good idea to take screenshots, to print outs, all that kind of stuff. But just be aware that when you cross a border, which is the time when you probably need access to most stuff on your phone, is when you'll almost certainly get zero. In fact, even if it's in the same, like if you're going Austria, Germany, it can swap to a different country and you can be without 4G for a good like 3 or 4 kilometers before and after the border.
I think having copies of everything is a really good idea. I was actually recently saw some videos from a girl who was traveling around the Americas. I think that's how you say it, the Americas, in her van, in a camper van. And she was saying, and this is what she's saying, I don't know, don't come for me. But she was saying that it's a good idea to have like photocopies, like colour photocopies of all your documents, passport included, because officials might ask for them, and some of those officials may be a bit dodgy, and then ask for money to give you your papers back. That's what she said. I don't know. I've not crossed the Mexican-USA border. I don't know.
Interesting. Well, I've seen Breaking Bad, so I feel like I have, and Better Call Saul, so I feel like I know that border very well. Anyway, so we've had Julianne's great travel tips. Any other travel tips you can think of?
Ooh, any other travel tips?
While you're thinking, I've got my favourite one, which is to go and buy. First of all, I'm trying to describe it, but we bought an airport, I think in Dubai or Doha or something like that. And basically it's a block, maybe about the size of a block of cheese. Blocks of cheese can be any size, Al. But it's basically maybe about sort of like 4 inches by 3 inches. And what you can do is you can pop out one side, you can pop out all the different plugs for all the different places. So you can go Australia and you press a little button and then this little Australian pins pop out. You can have UK, whatever. On the other side, it's got an adapter for all the different types of plugs. So you can basically go US plug into Australia if you want. And then it's also got 4 USB ports, which obviously are brilliant. That's exactly what you want. But if you couple that with a 3-meter iPhone or a 3-meter phone charging cable, whether you're Android, iPhone, whatever, couple that with a 3-meter one of those, then no matter where you stay, you'll be able to plug your phone in. If you're at the airport and you don't want to be sitting, by the toilet, where that's the only plug there is in the airport, then you can sit 3 meters away from the toilet because you've been clever enough to take Uncle Al's advice, and go and buy a 3-meter long charging cable.
Genius.
Well, not genius, just it's
a universal converter plug.
Is that what it's called?
I think so.
The UCP.
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone needs a UCP.
Yeah, and you never know when you're going to get someone go, that's a different plug. I mean, it's a different plug, but sometimes it's like a different plug and then a different plug. Like, was it Barley, was it? Or
yeah.
That had just a completely different plug to even all the different plugs that we had. So yeah, universal one is a really good show, actually. Yeah, I think there's loads, and I think we've talked about lots before, but I think really, downloading stuff, looking for dates either side, and we've talked about this so many times before. If you have a dog, don't restrict yourself on Airbnb to properties that only accept dogs. Most hosts will consider it, particularly if you have a good few reviews behind you. So, yeah.
There we go. I mean, if you scroll back through, you'll see there's lots and lots of hints and tips in our back catalogue. Things like where to find the best Christmas market in Europe, where to spend where to spend autumn in Europe. There's the Airbnb hacks. We've got about 100 somewhere knocking about. Yeah,
we've got PDF, I think.
Yeah, so if you're interested in that, just email us, asksidewayeslife@gmail.com. You see, we're not fancy. I'm a marketer and I should have some kind of fancy landing page for this, but I don't. I just email us because I can't be asked.
Not got the fucks all the time. That's not true. It's just Gmail does the job. Why make it more difficult?
Exactly.
And speaking of getting in touch, hi, Austin. Hi, Monica. You all right? Hi, how you doing? I was just casually sat on my desk before, tip-tapping away, got a little notification on the old gram of a lovely little graphic that Austin and Monica had shared about our podcast on friendships while living abroad, which also featured Natalie and Daniel. The community, you can feel it. Thank you so much for posting that. I've already sent you a voice message. They also have a podcast. You want to know the name of their podcast?
Yeah, go on.
Their podcast is called Profitable Nomad Couple Podcast.
PNC.
Yeah, PNC podcast is exactly what they've abbreviated it to. So Austin and Monica, thank you for the love. Check your DMs because I've slid into them. And let us know your hack, and hopefully we'll hear from you on a future Podmas episode.
So that podcast, if you want to listen to, was it Natalie and Daniel? I'm sorry, I've totally forgotten who you said that. Austin and Natalie.
Austin and Monica from the Profitable. What?
I've totally fucked that up. No, you're right. I was like,
which one? Who is it? Which one?
Who is it, love? Who is it?
Who's it? Who's that person we like?
Who's that one we like? So what was the name? The couple and the name of the podcast again?
The couple is Austin is in Powers. Austin and Monica. Anyone under the age of 30 is not going to get that reference, are they?
Nope.
Okay. Austin and Monica from the Profitable Nomad Couple Podcast. You can find them under Austin and Monica on Instagram. They've got lots of cool links in there. Their saying is, you are the author of your life. Love that. A really beautiful feed as well. Some cool reels. Check it out.
Brilliant. And I'm sorry, Austin and Monica, that I can't use Instagram. I'm too old for that.
Yeah, if you do contact us through Instagram, it's probably going to be me. What I love, though, is that people that now know. So I sent a message from Just a Size Life Instagram the other day to Andrew, Andrew.
Oh, yeah.
Asking for a voice note. It's like, sure, we'd absolutely love to, Leanne. I was like, it's me.
Yeah, I had to log into it this afternoon just to get something, and I'm like, oh God, I don't even know what the password is. I can't be arsed with all this. I used to be such a nerd. About 10 years ago, I was like, oh yeah, I'm across everything. I understand what Twitter is, not Instagram back then, but Facebook is. Now I'm like, just write to me. Just email me.
PO box.
Okay, I think that's probably enough. I have I have to go and make you a gin and tonic, I think, because it's that time of night.
Sure is, and we're a third the way through, Al.
Is it really?
Well, 838 said 24, right?
And 25 we just
show up and say hello.
Yeah. Brilliant. Okay, well, I think I'm more excited about that than I am about doing the podcast. So if you're considering doing Podmas in the future, then it's a bit of a... Yeah.
Good luck to you.
Good luck to you. All right, well, we'll see you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye-bye.